What up friends, Liron here. Thank you for joining me in another video. I'm in Paris and I just got yesterday, some of you who are following on Instagram and Snapchat saw that I got this one, the Sennelier Aquarelle. I have this sort of field set that I really just can't wait to try out for myself, so I must do an unboxing video for you. I don't want to pass that opportunity. So we're gonna change the angle and let's open it and see what's inside, and maybe even give all of the paints here a try. So this was, by the way, discounted. It was like 20% off. They didn't want me to record inside the store, whatever. So it was a good price, about 18 euros, I believe. And yeah, let's get it opened. So first let's open it up. It's a nice package. It was one of the smallest ones there. It's very simple. I'm not really sure what to expect when we open it. Like I'm not even sure if there's a brush or anything. But anyway, as I mentioned, this is the 12 pans, the half pans set. There's some explanations here, I guess. And so I know they're supposed to be really good. So I'll definitely want to give them a test right now. So anyway, let's open this. It's a very simple package. It's just the palette. I don't see anything in here, I think. So yeah, it looks nice. I have to say, I like this. It's the first time I use this brand. So, by the way, I didn't show you, but on the package here there are the actual pigments. So there's titanium white. It's really funny because it's the first time I see these, so that it's like primary yellow, orange, primary red, rose madder lacquer, I don't know what it is, cobalt blue. It's actually the first cobalt blue I ever used, like I never used cobalt blue so far. Primary blue, deep green, green yellow, yellow ochre, which I missed dearly, I haven't used that one in a while, burnt umber, and Payne's gray also. I miss it from my old Van Gogh pen set, so I'm really curious to see. Anyway, let's open this up. There's this thing. By the way, on the back there's this strap that you can just put it and use it more easily, which is exactly why I wanted to get this particular one. So, magic time. Ooh. Oh yeah. Okay, so let me zoom out a bit. Okay, so now we have the entire palette. There's no brush, unfortunately. I was actually really wanting just a foldable one, so maybe I'll buy it separately. I did hear that they have like their own store, and I feel kind of stupid for not going there, but maybe they have like nice foldable or whatever, like brushes. So here we have all the paints. This is the titanium white. We have the primary yellow, primary red, primary blue, deep green, green yellow, yellow ochre, burnt umber, Payne's gray, orange, and rose madder lacquer. And what I do like about this one, and the reason why also the pictures of it online attracted me to try it, is these areas, these mixing wells. So you have 3 large ones and then 5 smaller ones, and it looks like a good structure to try. So what I do notice is that these pans are sort of just thrown in there, which I'm not sure what it means, like when you want to replace them. So I'm not sure you can actually put the plastic box in there, because maybe there's not enough room. So it's definitely something to take into consideration. I will check it out and see. And in any case, you can just fill it up, of course, with tube paint. So that's just one interesting thing. So there is a place for a pen here, but there's no pen. I don't know, I don't think I missed it. So anyway, I'll just prepare some stuff and we can just test this out. Okay, so I created these swatches just to give a demonstration of each paint. A lot of you, I just find a lot of people comment, like they ask if I know Tio. from Parker Blogs, and like I follow all of his videos, and a lot of people say, "Oh, did you see this video about?" And I'm like, "Yes, I saw. I probably saw all of his videos. It's one of my favorite channels actually here." So the answer is yes, and from him, Jackpot, Jackie Jack, the cat is doing some trouble. From him I got this cool idea of swatches. So I just mixed some titanium white, and we're just gonna put it in. And of course you're not really gonna see it because it's white, but there you have it. I put it a bit on the black frame just to see if it affects it. So yeah. I'm thinking of getting another camera, just so that I can record from 2 angles and show you my palette as well. It could be really nice, and I think better for you. I wanted to do it with my, I have a second like backup iPhone, but I don't have a good tripod for that, so I really just don't have a way to make it stand in the proper angle. I will need to find a solution for that. I promise you I will. Not sure exactly when. So now we have the primary yellow. It's a very gentle. I'm gonna get a bit of a thicker mixture here. And it's really interesting. It's the first time I see that they name pigments like primary. I'm sure there's like, I need to check the actual content of these because I just don't know, but I'm sure there's more to that, like if you find what's actually in it, and if someone knows, please leave a comment, feel free to. Just the actual content of this of the pans, you know. So now we're moving on to the orange, and it's just named again orange. They say on the package that this is artist grade. I don't know, I have a hard time believing it just because of the price, but I could be wrong, so again, correct me if I am, because I do know that Sennelier make good paints, so I don't know, I could be wrong. So here we have the orange, next one will be the primary red, and they all have numbers on them. I'm not sure exactly the meaning of these numbers, but I guess it's like the internal numbering system of Sennelier. So the primary red, it looked a bit cool when I mixed it on the palette, but now that I look at it again, it has some coolness to it, but I'm not sure, not as much as I thought. Actually, you know what, I could be entirely mistaken. By the way, sorry about the lighting conditions, a bit odd, a bit different from what you're used to, so apologies for that. The next one is the Rose Madder Lacquer. Let me rearrange the camera here. So anyway, I think I started saying that I got this idea to make swatches from Tio's channel. I just love his channel and his videos, and his style is just very fun to look at, very vibrant. I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so now the Rose Madder Lacquer is a little cooler. It's really like a sort of standard, similar to quinacridone rose or Madder Lake. I find it to be really similar. Makes the red, like the primary red, which you can see, sorry, this one, the primary red, makes it look a little warmer. So now we're moving on to the cobalt blue hue. I'm not sure what the exact meaning of hue is in this context, so if anyone knows, like, I assume, because I know cobalts can be a bit toxic, so I assume it means that it's like a mixture that mimics the original more toxic cobalt, but I'm not sure about that, so feel free to correct me. I'm trying to get a darker value with this one, and it's a bit more challenging, I have to admit. By the way, the paper I'm using is Fabriano. It's a thinner one. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. I'll let you know maybe in the description box. I'm not sure exactly which Fabriano it is, but it works nicely for these kinds of demonstrations. If you kind of want to, you know, just put a very light wash of paint, and you're not going to put too much paint on the paper, then it works good, it doesn't buckle too much. So the primary blue is really a beautiful one. It sort of reminds me of the cerulean I used to use in the past. Really beautiful. I kind of wonder, I think that primary blue, primary yellow, and primary red will neutralize each other pretty well, and I think that's one thing we should definitely try out here. I'm just really curious to see, and from what I see now, I will have to check officially. The only one that seems to be really granulating so far is the primary red. The other ones are kind of look non-granulating to me in first glance. Anyway, now the deep green. Beautiful, sort of viridian-like. Maybe even similar to phthalo green as well. Kind of reminds me of the phthalo green I reviewed of the Winsor Newton. So I have to say I'm really pleased with the way these look now. Honestly, I'm not sure I'm gonna use like many of them, but the primary ones, the rose, the cobalt looks beautiful. I'm really curious to see how they interact with each other. The next one is the green-yellow. Also kind of curious about that one, so let me just put it here. Really interesting, a really interesting green. I don't think I ever used such a green in the past. It kind of reminds me of, I think, the Hooker's green, which is, I don't know, a very popular one from what or at least used to be a very popular pigment, but I don't know, I don't have enough experience with it to actually say how similar it is. So the next one is yellow ochre, and the first thing I noticed is that it kind of lifted off its place when I put the brush on it, and I lifted and the pen sort of lifted with the brush. So, but I think the moment these are wet, they will stay more in place. So yellow ochre, it's been a while. Yellow ochre, my good old friend from the old palette I was using, and then once I made the switch to Daniel Smith, I kind of abandoned this one. Really interesting to see how I'm going to use it in paintings in the next while. And don't forget, I plan on taking this set with me outside, so it's going to be really plein air, maybe a bit spontaneous, maybe some really light, sketchy look. So now the burnt umber is it's really light. Like the value is really lighter. I'm gonna try and grab some more. I pre-wet the pens. I sort of dripped water on them, so I thought I hoped at least that they will produce stronger. This one will produce a stronger value, but it doesn't seem to produce one. So I'm starting to think about how I can create really dark neutralized pigment. So I think the cobalt blue and the yellow ochre may work together. Of course, I can use the primaries just as they are. And the next one is the last one also, the Payne's Gray. And it's been a while since I used Payne's Gray as well, and I love it. You know, I just love I love this paint. It sort of reminds me of a neutral tint that I see many artists use these days, but I'm not so sure like what the difference is. So if anyone knows, also feel free to let me know. Let me zoom out for a moment so you can see all of them together. So we have the palette here, all of the wells. I just sort of used each well for a different color, and hopefully these will serve me well here. Really curious to try some mixes, so maybe we can just try it out a bit. Maybe start with the primaries, see how they work together, and just have fun with it. I'm not gonna make it too like serious, and really I'm not gonna carefully select ones. I'm just gonna go for what looks to be an interesting combination, and we'll give it a try. So let's rearrange everything and do just that. Okay, so I'm just gonna start now with some of the primaries here. Let's first go for the primary red, and I think I'm gonna let these mix on paper just to make it more of an interesting demonstration. So I'm just gonna take some of that red, and let's see what we can get when we mix that and maybe some of the primary blue, which is, it looks very strong. And let's add some of the primary yellow to the mixture, which takes a little more work to get off the pan. So these look like pretty good primary mix. I'm gonna try and mix a bit of a neutral mixture here on the palette. So I have just some orange here. I'm gonna add a bit of blue to it. The blue is really dominant. That's one thing I can tell you. So just trying to gray it out here. And here, I got a nice gray. I can tell you that like the blue is super dominant. I just give it a touch and it completely overtakes the mixture. You see here? If I add a bit more red to the mixture, we'll get a bit of a more magenta, purplish kind of a mixture, I guess. And the yellow really is the easiest one to overpower. So this is kind of the neutral color that we get. It looks a bit on the green side, so maybe it's just a matter of how I mix them. But it's really interesting. Now I want to try maybe, let's play around a bit with the Payne's Gray and the Burnt Umber, because I just feel these are two interesting, sort of one is bluish, the cooler, the other one is warmer. So we have some Payne's Gray here. I'm going to just take a bit of Burnt Umber and sort of let it mix and just see what we can get. These look terrible together, by the way. Sorry about that. Let's do it like this. Use a lot of water. And slowly start mixing in some of the Burnt Umber. It's really light, the Burnt Umber. Really, really light, I have to say. Let's... what should we try? Let's try doing something with the cobalt blue and the yellow ochre. Let's see how that goes. So let's take some cobalt blue. Again, it's pretty weak one. Move it a bit. So some cobalt blue. Really struggling to get it off the pan. And we have this sort of muted green. Really reminds me of the French ultramarine and new gamboge kind of combination in here. I want us to try mixing maybe something that's a little more strongly pigmented. Let's focus on the primaries now. So I'm just going to take some of the primary red here. Try and have it mostly red. And slowly start adding into the mixture some of the primary blue. So I get this violet kind of thing here. Just mixing them a little darker, and it creates this. I think this will be good for shadows, definitely. Just to get things darker. So that's an interesting one. Let's try making some orange with the yellow and red and maybe compare it to the pre-made orange that they have. So I'm gonna just grab some of the orange. I'm gonna clean it up a bit. It got a little contaminated. Yellow is really easy to contaminate, as many of you must know. So I'm putting a bit of the yellow here. I'm gonna add a little bit of red. And I really became a fan of letting stuff mix on the paper. Not really just on the palette. Make it look a little more fun, a little more interesting. So this is kind of the orange that we get from mixing these two. Now, if we compare it to the orange that comes with it, it looks more on the yellow side. You see it's a really light, really gentle orange. I wonder if I just take a little more yellow and add to that. It kind of, I think that the orange that comes with it has more of a golden feeling, I guess. But really interesting. And maybe we can try now to make some greens also. So we tried these two, now these two, and finally let's try making some greens with the yellow and the blue. So I'm just gonna let it mix on paper. So just adding a little bit of yellow here. I'll clean my brush thoroughly this time. Grab some of the green, of the primary blue. And it really, in that context, it kind of reminds me of of the way phthalo blue handles with Hansa yellow medium, whichever you prefer, because of the Daniel Smith, you know, because it's really similar here. The thing I'm curious about is what happens if we kind of eliminate that primary blue and maybe go for the cobalt blue hue. So I'm just going to take a bit of yellow and then I'm going to add some of the cobalt blue here. It's interesting. The thing that strikes me the most is how it's not that easy to get a darker mixture here. Like, I don't really see myself mixing the really dark greens with these, so I can understand why they add the deep green, which is what I'm putting on now, because this one will probably become darker. Now, I was recommended to mix it with burnt sienna or something like that, so I'm just going to try a bit of burnt umber here. And I'm really curious as to how to produce those dark greens with this specific palette or set. Maybe using Payne's Gray. I'm just gonna throw in some stuff here and see what happens, you know. Just trying to get a darker green. I don't necessarily want it to be cool. I actually am a big fan of warm greens, as some of you know. Another thing we could try is to use that same deep green, but just kind of add to it maybe some yellow ochre, perhaps. Let's try that. Don't remember if I tried that, but it definitely warms it up a little. So it could be interesting to see. I don't really like this combination. I'm just trying to add some random stuff to it and see what happens. I will, as a big fan of the warm greens, will have to find a solution for that, or just not do it and learn to use cooler ones. But anyway, let me zoom out a bit and just show you everything. So these are all the mixes we kind of got so far. I had to cut a small piece, sorry about that. We have here all the different colors, some mixes here and here as well. It's really interesting, and I think you will see exactly how I come to use these just in the paintings that I'm gonna do. So I will try and use some of them as soon as possible and show you guys the result. I'm really curious. So yeah, that's it. Let's wrap up this video. Friends, this is it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be testing and playing around with this palette a lot more, hopefully as much as possible outdoors. What I can say, by the way, about the material itself, and I didn't comment about it too much, it looks really simple in a cheap way, but in a good way, you know. If you want to have a palette that you kind of don't care about maybe destroying a bit, I wouldn't say it's bad quality, but for example, this link here that connects the upper and lower part, it does look a bit weak. It looks like if I go too much like this, it'll break. So just a few things to know about this one. But overall, a very interesting set that I'll be using quite a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, where I share live what I'm doing, especially now when I'm in Paris. You can see so much there. And also here on YouTube. Again, my plan is to make this channel as big as possible and to really sort of be the first person who, and this is something I never said before, so pay attention, to be the first person who kind of brings the whole blogging in a fun way and really taking you with me and seeing my day, together with the practicals of art making, sketching, painting, all of that. Because a lot of people sort of do one thing, but not the other. There are plenty of blogs out there, or travel blogs, or things of that nature, and there are plenty of how-to channels, but I kind of want to bring the two together. So I really appreciate all of your support in this, in my cause, and I want to thank you again, and I will see you tomorrow.